I think Bitcoin is famous for volatility, and yet when it experiences volatility, people are surprised.
Yeah.
Q1 has been the best moment for investors to put money into Bitcoin, and we've seen that with our client base. I think we've seen more traditional investors, wealth managers, asset managers, banks engaging with Bitwise, the Bitwise Bitcoin ETF, and the asset class in the first quarter of this year amidst the price action. So I think price is always a story in this space. If you remember back to when the Bitcoin ETF launched, it went from 46,000 to 39,000, and people said, okay, maybe it was a buy the rumor, sell the news story. And then it worked its way back up to where it was more recently. So I think there's never been a better time for this asset class.
You say it's always about price, but isn't that because there isn't much more to it than price at this point?
Price is the most prominent feature, of course, and it's what Bitcoin's famous for. It's the reason that we always have something noteworthy going on, the volatility of the price. But I think the story right now is regulation. It's the most obvious thing. It's a sea change since the inauguration. The White House, the Congress, and the SEC have flipped to a constructive level that has never been true before. It is definitely in play. So it's one of the items to evaluate that was in Trump's executive order shortly after he was inaugurated. It's one of the items on Treasury's agenda. And then Senator Lummis is working on a bill around that. She's actually having a gathering on March 11th where a bunch of myself and a number of other CEOs will be in D.C. to discuss the initiative. You saw more recently Abu Dhabi announcing that they bought Bitcoin in the Sovereign Wealth Fund, about $500 million. And so there's now about 11 nations that have exposure. So believe it or not, it's very real. And I think that that's one of the remarkable things about this moment is it's almost hard to imagine Washington, D.C. being positive on Bitcoin and crypto. But we're seeing that from the SEC throwing out enforcement cases against Coinbase and Uniswap just in the last 2 weeks. We're seeing that in the SEC and in so many places.
Bitcoin turning higher here at the end of an otherwise painful week. Like you said, heading for its worst week since the 2022 FTX collapse, worst month since June 2022. And Bitcoin ETFs, record outflows this week, about 2.7 billion in outflows. As of yesterday's close, we'll get today's numbers later in the afternoon. And the theme this week, Scott, has really been macro headwinds overshadowing these really strong regulatory tailwinds absent a crypto-specific catalyst. And investors I talk to say that they expect more of the same heading into March. So, the market seems to like the PCE. If you want another silver lining, Bitcoin's RSI, that's its relative strength index, it's now under 30, which suggests oversold conditions. So that is giving some investors hope that we find a bottom here soon. But again, Scott, Bitcoin likely to be defenseless against the macro uncertainty. Could even pull back to as low as 70K. I know Jenny just said, she could see a little bit more pullback as well. That wouldn't undermine the positive outlook. According to the people I'm talking to, this administration really is moving as swiftly as it said it was going to on creating more favorable regulatory conditions.
Welcome to the Cryptoteacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you're joining the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And also, guys, make sure you go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And we have Bitcoin dropping, and of course the mainstream media says that Bitcoin and crypto is all about the price, all about speculation. Guys, the mainstream media is not going to talk about all the utility in this space. They're not going to talk about the big banks and big corporations who have already inserted this digital asset technology. The mainstream media is not going to talk about it until it's here, until it's seamless. And we're about to get regulation. And once we get regulation in the space, this space is going to move so fast, the sheep are going to wonder what happened. They're going to think they're in a different world. Remember, Trump has 4 years to land us in this fourth industrial revolution. And for right now, we're going to continue on pumping and dumping. And we had these spot Bitcoin ETFs at 2.7 billion in outflows just this week. Yes, guys, you heard that correct. And who always tell you, make sure you're paying attention to inflows and outflows. But we know we had options today, and that's the main reason why we pulled back, because the Fed is shrinking liquidity. But like clockwork, at the beginning of the month, Starting on the 5th, we know they need Bitcoin as collateral. And then also right around that time, they start buying up again when it comes to these spot ETFs. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, it's like clockwork, guys. Not your financial advice, not financial advice. Please do your own research. And guys, remember, your life is an illusion and TV is your reality. We had Trump and Vance sit down with Zelensky, and we saw the Hegelian dialectic being played at its finest because you have two of the best actors that ever existed. And they definitely put on a show. Remember, the world is a stage. And Trump spoke about WW3. Guys, Armageddon is definitely coming. But like all drums are beaten, the banks fund both sides. It's all planned out to move us to an agenda. And that's the fourth industrial revolution, where the robots, algorithms, and drones take the economy over, pay each other with crypto, and the sheep go inside the metaverse. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you are
Mr.
not
President,
strong...
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the President for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
That.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on this
position to
question.
dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly
this.
what
I'm not
You're in
dictating.
no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very
you will
good.
Feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards.
Playing cards.
But right now, you don't.
Yeah,
you're playing cards.
Mr. President.
You're playing cards.
Serious.
You're gambling with the lives of
war.
millions of people.
You're
gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. It's
with
back
all
to you.
respect to your
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once?
A lot of times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank you?
Even today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Do you think your relationship with Donald Trump, President Trump, after today, can be salvaged?
Can be. Yes, of course, because it's relations more than two presidents. It's the historical relations, strong relations between our people. And that's why I always began with to thank your people, from our people. And this is the most important. And of course, thankful to President and of course to Congress, but first of all to your people. Your people helped to save our people. People, the first. Human rights, the first. This is very, very important. And we are thankful and sorry for this. I mean, we wanted very much to have only strong relations, and I very count that we will have it.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go, but clearly we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leverage to technology, and I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're going to get more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 Kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Drama Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Drama Tam save New York from COVID Stories 3. Part 3. King Joshua and Drama Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.